The Melbourne Cup Carnival has come to its close, our racing means test after each of these big days. The big opinions, and do we have some material to work with here? Wayne Hawkes chortling away. Hello to you, Wayne.
Good morning, Gerard. How are you?
Johnny O'Neill, has he looked after the battlers across the 4 weeks of this means test so far.
Morning, Gerard.
And Gareth Hall. We bring together Giddy Up and Whateley across these feature weeks. Hello, Gareth.
Hello, Gerard. Good morning to you.
Get us going. Set the tone for us with a King's Gambit at the close of the 2023 Melbourne Cup Carnival.
Love the carnival. I thought Flemington performed really well over the 4 days. It had it all. It was a little bit tough for the punters. We all know that. I blame the wind conditions for that, especially on the first and the last Saturday. But what I found interesting from the 4 days, there was a couple of things. Imperatrice is the best sprinter in the world after her victory in the Champions Sprint. Without a fight, I was trying to do my 3, 2, 1 on Giddy Up this morning. Do you give the 3 votes to the Without a Fight as the best horse in the spring, or is it Imperatrice who was unbeaten? We'll discuss that a little later on. I've lent towards maybe one of those horses for the star of the spring. And I love the performance of Jamie Carr, because for a jockey that was under so much pressure and she had lost form since that nasty fall there in the early part of the year, she was back as the leading jockey there at Flemington with 6 wins. So, and pride of Jenny and the mares on the quick backup, sensational stuff. There was so much to unpack there from the 4 days, Gerard.
There was. I thought Flemington was resplendent. So 262,000. I know we're a long way from those records of 400,000. These might actually be the ideal levels of crowds. I love the way that Flemington is now divided up into all sorts of different experiences. So the public lawn is manicured and set up just like the members now. So that's a great experience out there. Then you've got the rails and the birdcage and the nursery. You've got stages in all sorts of different places. It felt to me like, so there's a sophistication to it. You know what you're going to. This is a high-end major event, and dress for it, behave for it. There's a huge element of fun to it. It looked like everyone was having a super time, particularly on Saturday when I was able to get out and wander around a bit. I just felt like it sort of re-established. But a little bit more than that is this is now what the Melbourne Cup Carnival is. It used to be, Les used to write about it being, dress-ups and all this. Now it's finery. And I just think it's refound its place as one of our sporting major events.
I agree with you, Gerard, and I think it's certainly fashion-led, wasn't it? It was amazing just to see everybody taking the bull by the horns, I suppose, and really dressing up for it. I think the point that you're making here is that you can go and enjoy a day on the lawn. You can go and enjoy a day from a music aspect out the back, or if you're a really keen punter and you've got an owner, you get an opportunity to experience that in a little bit of a different way than what the other guys do. And I think that's a challenge, and certainly has been a challenge for racing over a period of time. So I think, Neil's done a great job leading the charge there. And from a marketing perspective, they must have done a lot of work, Gerard, in finalising exactly where they wanted to set their audiences up. Because I agree with you, it was absolutely beautifully articulated. There wasn't any challenges. I think the service, which has been a real challenge since COVID, no matter where you go, restaurants, hotels, has been a real challenge. I think they'd obviously done a lot of work around training for staff, because I thought it was seamless. I thought it was great.
I think the other aspect is the weather plays such a role. The sun shone on all 4 days, and I reckon for the last couple of years we've battled biting cold and rain as well, it is a literal dampener on the celebration. But we were blessed, I felt, this year.
Well, I think Cup year was traditionally Cup year from the point of view that 100 to 1 shot runs third the Melbourne Cup. Winners fell over. Favourites fell over. Punters got beat. Bookmakers. Simon Zara this morning was going through some of the retweets, and every bookmaker, it was fair. Won a little bit, just lost. Got Anthony Doherty and he went, we filled up. And so good on you, Anthony. There's going to be 70,000 bookmakers around the country going, shut up.
Wayne, I think a few of the punters fell over after Airman performed the way he did. But anyway, we'll talk about that later, no doubt.
G Hall bet
that wasn't the only thing falling over. G Hall bet, first win ever.
Good morning to you, John. Yeah. How's Joe Moreira going anyway? You want to start? Let's start.
I'm
Sorry? Has it sunk in yet? Gerard's quote on Wednesday was, when you're 85, do you think you'll look back? How about 4 days later? Do you
Wayne,
look back,
4 days
brother?
later, I booked into the psychologist this morning. I'm
Take
going
him with
straight
you.
after
Take
here.
him with you. Take him with you.
The big issue, Champions Day, was dominated by the mares, and as Gareth said, it was the crowning moment for the best sprinter in the land. So I'd held out on Imperatrice. She was a Valley champion, had to do it at Flemington, and did. So walk that back now, and full of admiration for the way that
Does she
racing.
become the best horse?
Well, she's the best
she?
sprinter in the land.
She's the best.
Yeah.
Righto.
Really?
So the
Righto,
problem
fair
was she
enough.
didn't front up in the Everest.
No, and that's but you know what? That's a story, Gerard.
Yes.
That is a bloody big story because you've foregone a race with total value of $20 million to stay home and to be king of Moonee Valley, and then we'll just put a cherry on top and go boom. I reckon that's as good a story.
Geez, we love the
as
tall
anyone
poppy
can,
syndrome, don't we? Like,
yes.
all we wanted to do was pop the fact that it was all Moonee Valley form. She had to go down the straight. There was a query whether she could do it, and she just did it on her
Can
ear.
I quickly say about down the straight? And this is not a pot on Opie Bossum, but I just wonder whether he actually realised how fast he was going out in front, because every horse around him punctured. They all punctured. All the best horses in the race came from near last because they were absolutely low flying. And to be honest, and I'm not potting him, he said 3 weeks ago, I haven't won up the straight before, and she's never been up the straight. So I don't reckon he realised how quick he was going. I didn't see the sectionals, and I'm not a sectional man being a horse trainer. I
They
train
went
the
quick,
horses.
I can tell you.
Well, they have to have gone quick because all those leaders around him punctured, and all the back markers were whooshing home. I reckon that made her performance even better because of what she did on Saturday, because she was entitled to puncture and stop.
Opie was surprised that Asphira Mitchell-Aiken didn't take that position that he found himself
How
in.
could he?
Yeah.
She was highballing in
I know,
front.
Yeah,
but
she went
he-
Don't worry about Mitch Aiken. He was
found
doing
the
his
right
best.
horse. Opie said,
Asphira leads by 4 in an Oakley plate that couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's gone massive, and she's the best sprinter in the world. There's no doubt about that. I don't know if she goes to Royal Ascot or not, Gerard, but I reckon talking to David Ellison.
They don't want to leave Melbourne.
She'll be going to the Quokka in Perth.
Right.
Well, geez, we had a
$5
cracker
million.
trying to get her there
I
last
know.
year, didn't we? You
Really?
and I were
Yeah.
talking about this,
So-
and we thought it's the horse we want for the quokka.
So Trackside New Zealand have purchased a slot in the Quokka. That was announced today. And David Ellis is such a massive investor in New Zealand racing. I think he'll try and look after Entain and Trackside.
What do you mean you think? You know.
Well,
Come
he
on.
did mention
Come
that.
on,
yeah,
don't
well,
smirk.
I don't know, but if I'm a betting man, she'll be heading to the Quokka.
Will your horse go there too?
Which one?
Amelia's Jewel?
Yeah, I think she will.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what a race that'd be.
That Pride of Jenny form for Amelia's Jewel looks pretty good
it
there.
does.
So with the TJ in Sydney and the Quokka?
I think.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, I don't know if she'll go to Sydney. Like David didn't give too much away there because he said I think she'll go to the Lightning in Melbourne, and then they might go to the Quokka. I reckon the Quokka's.
Hang on. Are we going quackering and then we're doing QF9 from Perth straight to London? Because
Well,
it's
we
a direct
tried to-
flight
we-
now.
we couldn't do
I
that
know
with-
that,
with
but is
Coolangatta.
this what
I
they're
don't know.
aiming towards?
I don't know.
Because Perth is on the way to London and there's no stops. I mean, that would be the ultimate flight to get on to go to London.
Imagine Volandi's losing not getting the
I'm gonna tell him
the best
I'm gonna
best
tell him you
sprinter in the
thought this
world.
up, Gareth.
Tiago Racing could be banned from racing in New South Wales if that happens.
He's got no chance of getting boxes in Sydney now. You can stay at Cranbourne.
I tell you what, it'd go to Ascot and just blow them away, I reckon.
But you win.
Just blow 'em
but
away.
As you said, it would have cost you you only went, what you raised for is nothing really. Your first class flights and accommodation wouldn't even paid for the prize money if you
So I
won.
would have thought for her it would be setting her up for breeding longer term, because there's no doubt if you go over there and put the show on, the amount of money that is in Europe, and certainly from a Japan aspect for those type of mares, is at least double what they would pay here.
Okay.
Once you're the champ, it becomes really important what you run in, I think. And I don't reckon the prize money plays a role in Royal Ascot. You go, so what do you
all
want to be
ego.
remembered by?
All
Yep.
ego.
Yeah.
So at the moment, she's the best sprinter. Is she? Can she be an all-timer?
Yeah.
Well, that depends on which races you choose
And
with her
that,
now.
I think they proved that money doesn't really come into
100%
consideration
they
with
did.
Imperatrice.
100%.
But I've just got a feeling with the Quokka that David Ellis is a massive investor in New Zealand racing. What Entain and that organisation has done for New Zealand racing, I reckon he'll try.
What's
and look
first?
after
What's
them.
first in
Yeah.
the quokka? How much?
Yeah.
Off the top of your head, without it going up.
I think it's 2 million. Be a bit
But I mean,
over 2 million.
Handicappers will never give her more than 58 because you go, I want to run in the Newmarket, and then you could run in the TJ. I mean, there's 3 or 4 million in first prize just there without having to go to Perth.
Pride of Jenny, utterly brilliant. Shades of O'Rourke and Cyril Small,
So-
what they did consecutive Saturdays.
Remember people having
Let's
a
just
crack
said
at me?
Kira Ma's, Cyril, not what's his name, Vic Rail.
Yeah.
Is that what you're comparing Kira Ma to?
More jockey and horse.
Do you know-
Jockey and horse.
Do you know how
That
many
train
people?
station, that train's never on time.
Do you know how many people got stuck into me, Gerard, about Amelia's Jewel? Who did she beat there at Moonee Valley? Pride of Jenny. Like, she's not much good, Gareth.
And she broke a track record that night.
Yeah,
too.
on that night, she's not much good. Amelia's Jewel, like,
Yeah, but to
Pride
be
of
fair,
Jenny's
that
not
was
much
Just
before.
dust it off, mate.
She
You'll
was
be
a
all
90 watt
Just
rater,
dust
a
it off
90
and
watt.
keep going.
Was she a
Pride of-
90 rater or a 92 rater?
She proved Pride of Jenny. She was mighty in a track when she blew them up on a hot tempo that day. And then she comes to Flemington. We all thought she won because of the track conditions with the southerly there that day. And it was nearly similar conditions in Saturday's Champions Mile, but she did it the opposite way. So on the Empire Rose, she blew them up at the start. Like, she opened up their lungs and then she got tired towards the back end, but the damage had been done. On Saturday, she just went through her gears, Johnny. So she went second, third, fourth, fifth, where in the Empire Rose, she was fifth and flat out for all of the way. So
Well, there's an old rule,
she's a
Gareth. You
star.
just keep the mares happy. You keep them happy when they're in form. They go bang, 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 bang. It's the same as the girls.
Yes.
Gareth, you've always
knew you were coming
always
with
had
that.
trouble doing that.
It's when Whateley
But
looks
at the
away
end of
and
the
goes,
day, if you
next.
keep them happy, things just progress nicely.
Do you know what the amazing part
great
was in that
training
race?
performance, right? Kieran and David to be able to do that.
But what about the ride? At the 700 where he goes and gives her a slap down the shoulder, I've just gone, oh, if you get beaten by a length, you're going to be hanging by the on the winning post, old mate. They're going to take you to the Baldy Bridge and you'll never be seen again.
What about the
She
format?
quickened and kept going. What a ride.
And the form out of the race. I mean, deny knowledge.
The
huge
Empire
win.
Rose.
Huge win.
Do you know what Gerard Whateley
Tissue's
said?
gone on and won the Group 1.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The best thing that you said about that was at least he had the courage and the whatever the adjectives are to actually go and do that, because most people wouldn't have had the guts to go and do it.
What?
He was mad.
Jared,
Mad.
Jared, do you reckon Tim
Great for
Clark
Tony and
needed to
Lynn.
be right on
Great.
her back with alligator blood? Did they like think, oh, she's got to come back to us here?
Yeah, I
Everyone
think,
does.
No doubt.
Yeah, I think they were confident she would come back to them.
Didn't
and
you think that?
Mr. Brightside Alligator Blood fangirl.
Yeah.
So the fangirl was
Towed them all
almost,
up.
it was almost like a tissue, wasn't it? In the lead up race where she broke a tissue's heart. Fangirl, James must have just been sitting back there thinking, well, I'm just going to get over the top here for sure. And then when it starts to warm up, because I think it clearly should have won the Cox Plate myself.
Has she got the best form in the
Fangirl. It was a
country?
huge run, the Cox Plate.
Has she got the best form in the
Pride of
country?
Jenny.
No
Pride
doubt.
of Jenny?
No doubt.
With what she's
1600,
done and
2000,
the
yeah.
Millies duel going to Sydney and should have won the Golden Eagle. I mean, it all ties in magnificently well, doesn't it?
Imagine if the Cox Plate was in 2 weeks' time, what we'd have going that way. Is she
Oh, that's
should
a good
suddenly
point
be
you
a player.
make, Jared. Yes.
And Atisha was the other big winner of the day, the Champion Stakes. Same as last year, she came off an almighty run in the Empire Rose and brained them in the matriarch. This time she takes the full step up, and really she's the only horse that makes significant ground out wide all day.
And Wayne, what is with this the quick backup with all of those mares? Foxy Frida did it in sensational form. The mares, especially on the quick backup.
Horses either absolutely excel and love it,
Yeah.
or they just puncture. And I know that's an easy thing to say, but I don't reckon they run fourth or fifth or sixth. They either just love it. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're backing up from Saturday to Saturday, you're not doing a hell of a lot with them in between. If you're down the beach or you're swimming them or you're just giving them a light exercise all week, you know, I mean, I'm sure some of them wouldn't have even had a blown out on Thursday morning. And if they did, it was just to clean their wind up a bit. Because if you think about last Saturday, she just ran a mile in 1:38 or some crazy thing. So it's not like she's not fit. What Johnny said before, you're just keeping the horse fit, healthy. She obviously was nice and round and the boys were happy to have a crack. And you know what? At the end of the day, the bottom line is if she had a punctured and run fifth, they would have said, hey, we were good on Derby Day. We're now going to eat grass anyway. Why not keep it for 7 days? It's a serious performance.
Again, you've got to stick to the rules, Hawks. We've had the pleasure of having the beautiful Jane Hawks in here this morning. Yes. And she said, I was only fair Tuesday, performed really well Thursday, but enormous Saturday night. Yes. So the backing up
Saturday
aspect
night.
sticks all the way through. After the races, she said it was out of control.
Yeah. She was at the George.
She was
I'm not going anywhere near
She was
there,
at the
Jerry, because I
George.
want to be back here on
She
Wednesday
was at
with
the
you.
Osmond, mate. She was at the Osmond, mate.
No.
So big race integrity comes out. So James McDonald has 4 winners for the week. 3 of them are Group 1s, and they're the name races.
Thank
He
you.
wins
The King is
Derby,
back.
the Oaks, and
King's
and the Champion Stakes. He has 8 seconds and 2/3. So he rides favourites right throughout the carnival. He's the main reason why the favourite strike rate is so bad across it. But he's got the three
So
of
do
the
you give
big
him
four.
a pass? Do you give
Oh,
him
no, it's a soaring pass.
Well, I'm disappointed in Macca. I thought he should have turned a few more of those 8 seconds into wins.
Sitting in the ice bath with you didn't help him, driving him mentally insane.
No, in fact,
he said to me, I wish I had found the place on my own because all G did was ask for tips the whole time.
I tried to inspire him. I felt sick. I thought a tissue was the biggest run you'll ever see a horse perform without winning a Group 1. So Dozy and a tissue were the runs of the races there on Derby Day. Then they win the Oaks and then, of course, the Champion Stakes. So, yeah, he performs on the big stage, J-Mac, doesn't he?
I didn't see him ride too many bad ones. I reckon
best.
he did in the Archer, but I don't reckon he rode too many bad races, to be fair.
Yeah, we saw the goat finish up, and he was the Angora goat. Now we've got the new goat. He is unbelievable, this bloke.
So Damien Ratcliffe had listed his last 8 winners. The $2 million Sydney Stakes I Am Me, the $5 million King Charles with Fangirl, the $750,000 Moonee Valley Cup with Cleveland, the $5 million Cox Plate with Romantic Warrior, the $2 million Derby with Riff Rocket, the $1 million Oaks with Zardozi. He decided to chime in with $175,000 Amanda Elliott on Schwartz and the $3 million Champion Stakes.
So he's got a tax problem.
He's got big race. He's got big race
problems.
integrity,
And he still makes me shout breakfast.
Yeah.
Hey, how
And you
smart's
paid
he?
for his ice bath. I know who the fool. I know who the idiot is.
The beaten favourites next. So the racing means test for Melbourne's home of the ultimate celebration, the Osborne Rooftop and Bar, Commercial Road, South Yarra, and My Racehorse. It's showtime, myracehorse.com. If you are a relative of Jamie Spencer, I would just take half an hour to go and have a coffee next. Melbourne's
go.
well. Is
Good
he
from
out of the
you.
country?
All I can say is he rode light inventory in the, I think in the autumn last year.
No, the Golden Eagle.
The
you
Golden
put him
Eagle.
on, yeah.
The Golden Eagle. And
You said never again.
well, I did. Well, I mean, I alerted both New South Wales and Victorian, you know where you check in, what do you call it? Customs.
Custom.
So I said never to be entered in. But you know what? Wasn't smart enough to realise that there was an international airport at Adelaide. So he's obviously come in through Adelaide. Lovely bloke. I've said it all the way. Like,
Everyone loves him.
he's a terrific bloke.
must.
I caught up with him over the carnival. He's obviously not talking to me, but but I did catch up with him and see him. But
won't be
like
now.
at the end of the day, like it was just absolutely horrendous. And and
sorry.
for form people, Gerard, to be saying these international horses like to be free bowling and free rolling. What a lot of rubbish! It missed the start a length and a half. It was 10s on to miss the start. Never missed the start in its life. 10s on with him in that race to miss the start. And then he decides to take off and go Oakley play. It would have led Imperatrice mid-race. It went that fast.
For the record, when you're a jockey out of the barriers, rule number 1 is if you miss the kick, don't dig them up and hunt them forward. You just got to take your medicine and just sit there. That is the unwritten rule.
Yeah, so he rode this horse horribly in the Turnbull and then repeated the dose in the Champion Stakes and then rode it brilliantly in the Caulfield Cup in the middle when he didn't dig it.
No, the Caulfield Cup, he drew the barrier, though, see?
No, but he missed the start.
Yeah,
and instead of
I
hunting
know,
him up
I know.
because they wanted to be in the first 4,
I get it.
he sat and everything
rode
panned
it well.
So for those who are keeping score, he's none from 24 dating back to Oaks Day 2013. His litany of sins at this carnival stretches through 11 and he didn't get close.
I've never seen anything like it. He's like Jamie Spencer's a great rider in the UK. I used to love backing
Is he?
him.
Is he
'cause
though?
no, sit sprint because of big spacious tracks.
But back then is the
but
narrative.
I still think that he's got like the
What do you think he has got
English racing suits him. But I've never seen a jockey.
Is that because it's 12,000 miles
100%.
away?
I've never seen a jockey get it so wrong on so many occasions and then get opportunity after opportunity to continue to have
I think
opportunities.
he should come out. I think he should come out, but he should just come out and party for 3 or 4 weeks.
He's like
can have
I've
do a few
described it like
speeches
this.
and
I've described it like
functions.
this with Jamie Spencer, Gerard. It's like playing 3 spinners at the whacker. You know, he's,
Yeah, but he can't spin the ball.
I know, but it's
He's
not.
just telling you
he's,
he's a
just,
spinner.
he's not suited to Australian conditions.
Not suited to
No.
Australian conditions.
Yeah, so you play him.
Has
in
he
England.
left, though?
I don't know.
Has the integrity department taken him to the airport and said,
Well,
do
I
not
think,
return?
I think it's just
believe he's been
unfortunate.
escorted.
You what?
I believe he's been escorted.
Has he?
Anyone else got anything for Oh No beyond that?
I thought Johnny
yeah,
Allen. I mean,
yeah.
Johnny Allen, great rider, and he's ridden a lot of winners for us. I thought he's right on
Very
Steinem.
wide without
Steinem
cover.
was pretty shitty. I didn't think it was much good. And also, my second favourite jockey in the world, didn't ride Buckaroo very well, I wouldn't have thought, in the
Who's your
in the
jockey?
2000 Blake Shin. Love him.
What happened?
You're allowed to make a blue occasionally. Well, he took off 800 from home. I'm not quite
Where's
sure
it
why he
going
did
now?
that. I know it'll go out, I would say.
So
I haven't
he'll
spoken
stay
to
in
Chris.
Australia?
It's staying here. It's going to
Yeah,
Chris.
I
It's going to
like
Chris.
him as a futures
Yeah.
prospect.
So,
I've got a no, Jarrett.
Yeah.
I accidentally told everyone today on Giddy Up to get on. Forgot you for the Northerly. I don't know if Johnny's backed him yet, but
It's unbelievable.
he's $51 into $9.
He's in the ice bath, and I said to him, he said, "Oh, have you got anything for me?"
I said,
You
I'm
know,
sorry.
I backed James's 8 seconds. You got anything for me? And I
No.
said, yeah, well, I think forgot you'll go around at 51.
Yeah.
Well, it's $51 in the Northerly, so let's just have a couple of
So
quiet
you've got a-
bets.
you've
And then
got a
I'm listening to
Gerard
him on the
Whateley.
radio this morning, and that what price of $10 down there. It's unbelievable.
That's what Whateley
Haven't
did
had
to me
2
last
cents on
year.
it.
Whateley and I
It's
put a couple
unbelievable.
$100 in each to have a little punt.
Anyway.
He's telling all the listeners, then goes, we haven't backed it ourselves.
No, because my
You
listeners
you
are family.
blokes fair, didn't
Once
you?
I
You are a
mentioned
bit
it,
selfish like that.
no, once
you
I
do
mentioned
tend
it,
to do that.
No,
Well,
I had to tell him what price now. Bet 365. Yep, $11.
Got you, Johnny. Got you, Johnny.
Why would you do that?
And you've just given
Aussie's on the
Johnny up
phone
on.
too, he wants to
You've just
speak
given
to
up
you.
Johnny on the radio too.
Aussie wants to
You're
speak to you.
unreal.
And Airman was an oh-no, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, no, he was definitely a no-no. I spooked him like there was no tomorrow, and
Flat tyre there, mate. No air in him.
to be totally fair,
Yes.
the person that escorted Jamie Spence to the airport was one Michael Hawkes.
Yeah.
He went home with his arse in a sling. Let
Yeah, I
me tell
would've
you, the
thought.
poor bugger.
Anyway.
Well, the bottom line was he just obviously punctured after the Sydney Stakes, and it just took a little bit to get over it. But then we thought he was right. If we knew what we knew, he wouldn't be here. To be totally honest, right? Totally honest. He's only got beaten 4 lengths by Bella Nipotina. She won the big race in Sydney last Saturday. He'd beaten her his previous start. We're horrendous with Airman, and he's only got beaten 4 lengths to Bella Nipotina. He will be here next year in all these big races, but just not last Saturday.
So apologising in
sorry
advance
for that,
to,
everybody.
Well, just apologising in advance to Trent and Nat and to Kieran. I won't be able to pay my training bills next month because I tuned right into Airman the Place. So Hawksy,
right.
just find something for me, please.
And Hawks,
Just something.
You won't be getting banned from G Hall Bet as well.
No, you can get on whatever you can get on for whatever you want.
The only one was happy
good
was you.
start.
You gave me hundreds, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, we'll have the yeses coming up. Here's Nat. Just something a little more uplifting.
Yes, 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 yes.
Johnny, what have you got in the yes?
I had a lovely winner on, pretty sure it was on the last day. Muramasa won the Queen's Cup. Had a throat operation. Very rarely do they come back from that. Trent and Nat, great effort to get the horse back. Been really, really patient and a great ride from Daniel Moore. He had a fall at track work or in the trials at Cranbourne and wasn't allowed to ride for a week. So it was sort of like the first day he came back. So I thought that was huge. Great send off from the jocks for Ollie. I thought it was just unbelievable. And I thought J-Mac and just it was so great to see Jamie Carr come back. So plenty of positivity out of the weekend.
So Jamie Carr rides the 6 winners and works her way back to form, has the treble, beats J-Mac in the first 2 races on Champions Day. That just to put the point of emphasis on her return to form.
Watching her, did you think, I just thought she was more balanced and horses were running for her once again. They weren't pulling like, say, that Von Hawk did at Geelong that day. I just thought that it's amazing that the confidence, what it did there after Derby Day.
And that's so your point, Wayne, on Derby Days, and this is a sportsman working their way back into form, is one can do the trick for you. And she progressed as the week went on. It does surprise me a little bit in racing that so you're not really allowed to, this is why I admire the three of you, you're not really allowed to say she's out of form. Like she was in terrible form and then she worked her way back brilliantly. A little bit like
but no one does.
a little bit like what would the right comparison be?
football,
Lockie Neal would be the
correct.
right comparison. In the middle of the year, there were questions around his fitness, his midfield output. So no one was saying that he couldn't play, but he was out of form. And by the end of the year, he'd won the Brownlow. Yeah. So you sort of get to
Michael
plot
Voss
that.
at Carlton, same.
Did you going back a few
No,
years?
no, Michael
Oh,
Voss.
no,
Michael
at
Voss
Carlton,
this
yeah.
year.
I thought-
the first 8 rounds, Miles Fitzner on SEN on Saturday week ago said, after I was critical about Jamie, and I think this was the best comment, he was sticking up for me, but what he said was this: if Jamie Carr was an NRL or an AFL footballer, she would have been dropped. That's simple. So she has had to work herself back into form, and if you think about it, these were the only people in a sporting industry that didn't have a coach, because J-Mac riding for Kieran Maher and David Eustace, and I mean, I was going to say prostituting themselves out. What's the right word? They're just subcontracting themselves out. And
I don't know about that, Wayne.
you know what I mean. Thank you.
your
Not before
vocabulary.
you know what I
Not
mean.
Wayne.
So the bottom line is now some of these guys and girls are starting to have coaches, whether it be a life coach or not.
Johnny O'Neill, one of them.
What
He's on every
Jared,
Monday morning about 10:30.
I'm also, from a racing aspect, this is something we need to take on board. The AFL footy season is 7 months. I know there's a lot of preparation for it. And you're judged on 22 games or 23 games plus the finals if you make it. The thing around the racing industry is it's 52 weeks of the year. And Jamie may take a few weeks off in the middle of winter to go away, but at the end of the day, because she is who she is, James is, Blake is, there's always such a high expectation when they're riding horses. So I think it's physically impossible for horses, not only the horses, but the jockeys in this instance, to be at their best. She's come back from a horrific fall.
Exactly
it would have been
what I was
very
about to
easy
say.
to put your hand up and say, wow, maybe she needs a bit more of a break. She might have pushed too hard to come back. But I think champions, and there's no doubt she's a champion. Like, she's led the way for female riders. Sure, Michelle Payne was amazing leading into the Melbourne Cup and winning that. But leading the way there, and Rachel King's come out, I just take my hat off to her. Every Sunday she's at pony school or she's at the jumps. She just loves the industry. So I'm just so happy for her. But I think it is really difficult to expect people to perform 52 weeks of the year.
For those who don't know and don't remember, Jamie Carr got knocked out coming to the home corner at Flemington back in March, and she was unconscious on the track for 10 minutes. Now, you know what? To get herself back up, and she's probably been in a dark place. There's probably no doubt about that. Anyone that's had those sorts of head injuries. So to get back to do what she's done and to shine on the week that counts.
And to put up with Ben Mellum. I mean, that's also quite a significant.
My deny knowledge win was excellent. What I will say, what racing's got wrong is, so she's at the Victorian Racing Tribunal today on the white powder controversy. As the AFL's figured this out. Yeah, that's the report in the Herald Sun. Right. The AFL's figured this out. This is a misdemeanor in modern life. You get your 2 weeks, off you go, repent, we'll see it. You don't run it through a whole legal process.
No, racing's its own worst enemy.
It's tying themselves in knots over this.
We all know what happened. She made a mistake. She's open about that. Bring her in, Jamie. You can't do that. And you've got a responsibility now as a role model. We're going to give you 2 weeks. Go away and think about it, and then come back and do what you did there at Flemington.
And that should have been in June.
Well,
it should have been dealt with at the
been.
time.
She's
Stringing this out is bad for her, and it's bad for racing.
So she's
and it's
come back.
unnecessary in modern life.
She's the princess of racing. There's been so many people watch and be involved over the carnival. We're all supporting her and saying how wonderful she is. And now she's got to take a spell, we're assuming, if she's found guilty, on the basis of this, Gerard. I agree with you. I don't know whether she will. I don't know whether she will be guilty. If that's what it was, and then move on.
I don't reckon she'll be found guilty. I don't reckon she will.
Yeah, well, she's
going to go negative in a urine
I hope
test.
she's not.
What about just Michael Ross? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He had his first winner back Friday night. Talking about concussion, he was lost to the game. He was struggling big time, and he's fought his way back. And it was
Beautiful
an emotional
rider.
interview there on Sky Racing. Well done to Michael Rod. Great to see.
The racing means test for Melbourne's home of the ultimate celebration, the Osborne Rooftop and Bar, Commercial Road, South Yarra, and My Racehorse, owned today from just $39. My Racehorse at Showtime, myracehorse.com, T's and C's online. We're going to debate who is the best horse in the country at the end of the Flemington Carnival. Coming into the spring, the contenders for the best horse in the country were I Wish I Win, didn't win a race. Amelia's Jewel ended up bruised, literally and figuratively. Mr. Brightside won some, lost some. Giga Kick was one and done. Globe was the up-and-comer. He burst immediately. Who is the best horse in the country? The next big thing for Macca's, the new McCrispy. It's the next big thing. Gareth, who's the best horse in the country?
I think without a fight, if you win the Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup double, you deserve to be the best horse in the country for mine. From Imperatrice, Australasia, and I think it's a fight between those two. And then from a consistency point of view, if you're doing your 3-2-1, you have to lean towards Brightside. Second in a King Charles, second in a Cox Plate, went down by a lip and dominated the early part and was mighty, I thought, on Saturday as well.
Yeah, I think that's 100% right. The only horse I'd like to own out of it being the best horse of the country is Zardozi. I think its win in the Oaks was extraordinary. I think it's just maturing. It started to really look good in the coat. I don't think it looked that great on the Saturday, really improved between that and Oaks Day, and I think it might be the next Very Elegant. It's very hard for those 3-year-old fillies to step up, but I think it will. I think it's very good.
I can't really add any more, to be fair. Everything you've said's pretty much right. It's all good pub talk, but who is the best horse? I don't know. Imperatriz is as good as what we've seen for a while. I mean, you say that, but then what would Black Caviar and Chautauqua? They're the measuring sticks, aren't they? But if you really screw down into it, the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double, as Gerard said, we could go another 40 years and not see
I
this.
agree with that. Yeah.
Not see this happen. So you probably, when you get Caulfield and the Melbourne Cup, it's a bit like J-Mac versus Jamie Carr. When you win the Derby and the Oaks in the same week, that's a bit special.
Who are you backing, say, down the straight, Lightning Stakes? If I Wish I Win takes on Imperatriz, think about it.
Imperatriz.
Giga Kick.
Imperatriz.
Yeah.
Because she can jump and go forward. She proves that. But he wouldn't want to go as hard as what he did against all those horses. And, gee, it's amazing, though, wouldn't it? Like Giga Kick, I Wish I Win. I mean, they were just the two massive names that were going to Sydney and whatever. And then the Perth pony came over, and how it's changed, but it's changed for the good. And the other thing, I had to say it, the other thing is our attrition rate, I reckon, has been very minimal, because normally, I remember in years gone by, Herald Sun would start doing a weekly tally on some of the great horses that have just gone amiss. Now, whether it's a cold and have to go aside and you can't play again, so be it. But I reckon there'd be, of the top class horses, there'd be very, very few, Gerard. I don't think we've.
Congratulations to Grace and the team. They've obviously been adamant about what they wanted to do, but from an international perspective, I think we're getting the right horses here now, and if they don't pass the vet, they just don't run.
Macca's 30 days, 30 deals. Grab a new deal every day of November only on the My Macca's app. I just want to make this sort of a yearly disgrace segment, the market for next year's Melbourne Cup. So Solcombe's a $13 favourite. Does he jump in next year's Melbourne Cup?
Well, can
someone tell me?
If he does, he'll win.
He'll be in a paddock with Chautauqua, and they'll be going, we got him.
He'll be right.
He was
That's what we said.
He was $10 on the eve of this year's Melbourne Cup, and 12 months out he's $13.
Yeah, it's
Without a fight's $13. Last year's Melbourne Cup winner just ran 17.
So
what weight is without a fight?
That's right.
68.
$13.
You get 58 and a half.
But there's a better one than that.
On both.
No.
Better one.
Yeah, there's a
better one.
Westbourne Blows is $15. Is Jamie Spencer riding?
It's $115 a visa, isn't it?
Be like if Jamie Spencer's riding, be like at the darts. 180.
Poor old Jamie. How come he continues to get these opportunities?
Well, you started.
No, I didn't.
You started potting him last year after he slaughtered that
Yes.
horse of mine in Sydney.
You told me to.
And you were the one that
He
sent
did
the
get the
note
Melbourne
out
Cup winner beat last year, gold trip in the Cox Plate.
He fell off it in the Cox Plate. He fell off it, but he still got back on it, run fifth. It was unbelievable. It's like tricks,
Jamie,
you know,
if you're
like
listening
those
on the
cowboys that do the tricks.
Jamie, if it's
They
now
spin
Friday
around
and you're
and-
listening back in the podcast, you're a beautiful man. You do host a beautiful
He's
40th
a bloody
birthday
ripper.
party. Good on
Champion
you,
bloke.
So you got invited to the 40th?
mate. Yeah, Jane and I went. Yeah, we went to the 40th.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I went more because his best mate Stephen Hillen was having his 50th, and Stephen's the one that's sold us Pesto and Zarek and those horses.
Let's make it quite clear, mate. Jane got invited. You were the +1, mate.
Yeah,
There would have been
right.
no chance
Shut
he would
up,
have
will you?
invited
I've got
you,
feelings
mate.
too, you
He was
know.
trying to get some
Hello.
decent-looking ladies
Hello.
there, so Jane straight in.
So how was
and you're
Joe
at the back,
Moreira's
mate,
ride in the
room.
Melbourne Cup anyway?
The curiosity is, why was Flemington so fronty on the two Saturdays? I know
Fronty.
everyone swoons.
New word.
That they
The
did-
wind.
A Whateley word,
It's
fronty.
it's
It was
a
the
lovely
wind.
environment, Flemington. The track didn't race very well this time around.
No,
No
I know,
one wants
I
to
know.
say
I
it.
think
Both
that's a
Saturdays
bit
were
harsh.
fronty,
No.
and the middle days were sweepers.
It was the wind that I think.
It didn't
the
race
track,
evenly the way that
No,
it normally
I think,
does.
I think the track played okay. And I think it was difficult with the water with all of the wind. But when the wind gets above 30 k's, and it's not usually as southerly at Flemington, I just think it took a while for the jockeys to work out how you ride in this wind. I blame because you see it in Perth when the Fremantle doctor comes in. You don't want to be in front. They got to swoop out wide. I think the wind plays such an important factor in race patterns, and I think
talk about Perth already.
Yeah, no,
next 4 months.
I'm telling you, the wind was the factor, not the track.
Well, look, it may well have been. One thing I will say for the punters out there, it's very, very difficult to take pre-market all-up bets and doubles and stuff nowadays, because even on Saturday, and I mean, I've been a huge fan of the Sydney racing. It was Flinders Lane, the rail on Saturday, up there for people that tuned in and had a good look. If you didn't find the rail,
hang on,
which is one way out against the fence, you can't you just couldn't make any ground at all. Now, so the question there, Gerard, is it the wind? We understand the situation at Moonee Valley, and I've had a lot to say about that. So I think what we need to do is probably dig in a bit more and find out exactly why these things are happening.
Flemington never has. To be fair,
agree,
Flemington never has track bias.
No,
does
no,
it?
I'm
Never.
Sydney's been fantastic
Never.
too.
Never.
Sydney's been good, but
It was the win. So it was like you're
You
a
love that, don't you?
You're a
J-Mac gave you one thing after you ice
Shut up,
bathed
Wayne.
him.
It's just like you're a football
unbelievable.
coach, and with the track these days and the track's bias, you're a football coach. When you're punting, you have to change the magnets at half time.
When do you
time.
when do you
Done.
complete your masseuse course? Because James said you were doing the shoulders and the
Righto. Something for the battlers. Pens ready. Johnny O'Neill's steered us 4 weeks running. Will the streak continue? As sure a thing as death. And it trotted in. So 4 weeks running, John O'Neill has given us something for the battlers. I'm not sure Wayne understands what this segment is. Where are you taking us, Johnny?
So we've got a couple. We have a couple. We need to go to Wednesday, the midweeker. I hate tipping 2-year-olds first up. We've got a very nice 2-year-old called Spywire going around at Rose Hill. So you need to have something each way. It might be $6 or $8 or something. But again, there's another one of these surer thing than deaths going around in the 1,000 guineas.
Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858.
Thank you very much, Gareth. Mike Moroney and Blake Shin will take out the 1,000 guineas with Coeur Volant, if that's how you pronounce it. Geez, it's a nice horse. Drew wide last start, push forward, home it goes.
Righto. I've had to ring the brother, and I've had to shut up, Gerard.
Just ring John.
I've had to. No, he doesn't know. Michael does. I've had to ring Michael. I've had to ring
daddy.
Michael.
you can't say that.
I've had to ring Michael. And
Get that
Michael
on video,
said,
please.
Michael said Friday night iced chocolate at Moonee Valley. At Canterbury. And there's one quick thing I want to say. I've listened to your editorial so many times, Whateley, and there's words I've never heard of that you say. Fronty. What the hell is a fronty?
Plenty.
Go away, Whateley. Whateley, go away.
Fronty is what we lived through on the 2 Saturdays at Flemington. Gareth?
It's New Zealand Cup week. So Star of Justice in the 1,000 guineas at $8 for Tiaco Racing. And I know we don't
Love
talk
him,
about
yeah.
harness racing, but Swayze, the Australian horse, can win the New Zealand Trotting Cup, which is the biggest race in any code at New Zealand, tomorrow afternoon.
Well, there's a glad bag of information for
Yes.
you. Excellent.
Swayze.
All right, Group 1 racing again next week, so we're going to do this next Monday.
Yep.
That's the Racing Means Test.